All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating holiday that totally flips the script on life, death, and memory. We're talking about Dia de los Muertos, or as it's known in English, the Day of the Dead.
So, let's just start with a question. I want you to think about this for a second. What if your loved ones who've passed away could come back, just for one day, to join in a holiday celebration? Not as spooky ghosts, but as the guests of honor at a big family party. For a lot of us, that might sound, well, a little strange, right? But, in Mexico, that's not some far-out concept. It's the absolute heart of one of the country's most important and beautiful holidays, a time when death is actually met with joy.
And look at the wording here from National Geographic. The key word is joyful. This whole thing isn't about mourning or being sad. It's literally a time set aside to remember the people you've lost and to celebrate who they were.
Really, the easiest way to get your head around it is to picture a huge family reunion. The only real difference is that the guests of honor are your ancestors, who are believed to travel all the way back from the spirit world just to be there.
So, how exactly do you throw a party for guests from the spirit world? Let's get into the key things families do to welcome them home.
To really understand how this all works, we first need to learn a few key words. Think of this as our little vocabulary lesson for the celebration. It'll make everything else make a lot more sense.
Okay, our first and most important word is the ofrenda. In Spanish, it just means offering. And the ofrenda is, without a doubt, the centerpiece of the whole celebration. It's this beautiful, brightly decorated altar that basically acts like a personal welcome beacon, guiding a family's spirits back home. So what do you actually put on this ofrenda? Well, everything on it is super personal and has a purpose. You've got photos, of course, but you also have their favorite foods and drinks, candles, and all sorts of personal items. The idea is that the spirits are drawn back by the familiar smells of their favorite meal, or they see a photo in their favorite book and they know, I'm home. It's like a welcome mat for the soul.
Now, a huge part of that welcome mat is this flower, the Flor de Muerto, or the Mexican marigold. People believe its super bright color and its really strong scent create a kind of pathway, literally lighting the way for the souls to find their specific ofrenda.
All right, our next word is the calavera, which is just Spanish for skull. And this is probably the symbol you've seen before. It's the most famous image from the holiday. You see these calaveras everywhere, as little sugar candies, as decorations, and of course, as that amazing face paint.
But, and this is so important, look closely. These skulls are not meant to be scary. They are almost always smiling, It's as if they're laughing in the face of death itself. It treats death not as something to fear, but as a familiar, accepted part of life.
So we've got the ofrendas, the marigolds, the smiling calaveras. Now let's see how all these pieces come together as the celebration actually happens over 2 very special days.
The whole thing follows a really precise timeline. It all kicks off at midnight on November 1st. That day is called Dia de los Angelitos, and it's dedicated just to the spirits of children who have passed. Then, exactly 24 hours later, at midnight on November 2nd, the celebration shifts to honor the adults. And finally, later that day, everything spills out into the streets for the huge public celebration.
So, for that first 24-hour period, the ofrendas are all about the little angels. You'll see them decorated with the child's favorite candies, little snacks, their favorite toys, anything to make their spirits feel welcome and happy to be home. And then, when the clock strikes midnight, the whole mood shifts. The ofrendas get an update. The toys and candies are switched out for the things the departed adults loved. Maybe a bottle of tequila, some mezcal, and definitely some pan de muerto, which is the sweet, traditional bread of the dead.
The big finale happens on the afternoon and evening of November 2nd. The private, in-home stuff moves out into the streets with big parades, music, and parties. And this part is key. Families go to the cemeteries to clean and decorate the graves of their loved ones. They turn these normally quiet, somber places into these lively, bright spots of community and celebration that go on all night long.
So all of these traditions, the altars, the food, the parades, they all point to something way deeper. To really, truly get Dia de los Muertos, you have to look at its core idea. its unique and powerful celebration of life.
Now, because it happens right around the same time of year, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking it's just Mexican Halloween. But honestly, they are polar opposites. Where Halloween is often about being spooky and scaring off ghosts, Dia de los Muertos is all about honor and welcoming spirits home like family.
And this gets to a totally different way of looking at death. As the quote says, people who celebrate this holiday see death not as this horrible, terrifying end, but as a welcome, natural part of being alive.
And that's why those smiling skulls aren't making fun of death. It's really a symbol of acceptance. It's about looking at death, knowing it's inevitable, it's part of the cycle of nature, and then choosing not to fear it, but to embrace it.
This all comes back to the central role of memory. The entire holiday is built on this beautiful belief that our loved ones aren't ever really gone, not as long as we remember them. Or, as this quote puts it so perfectly, our dead are never dead to us until we have forgotten them.
And so the whole celebration really leaves us with this one profound question. A question that kind of challenges our own ideas about life and loss. If we can't escape death, then why not celebrate it? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.